Welcome back to the news at 10. Now, to take a look at the way the nation's politics unfolded in 2017, I'm being joined by an Associate Professor of Political Science, University of Lagos, Dr. Kayode Isola. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Yeah, thank you, Joma.
Let's begin, at the early part of the year with the president's medical vacation. That hogged the headlines quite a bit. The PDP had their say. What do you think about the way information was handled at that time and just the way the transition of power at that time as well?
Well, that was a very big political event in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians were disappointed that the president, who was preaching change, decided to go the way of the former leaders by going for medical treatment abroad. Okay, that gave the opportunity to PDP and other opposing groups to be able to say what ordinarily would be too early for them to say. But that being said, the ruling party managed its information well. It played all the caution games to ensure that that did not boomerang. I think the lesson they need to learn from there is that it's high time they started addressing issues that will prevent occurrence of such a thing in the nearest future.
And then looking at the activities within the parties themselves, the PDP had quite a stormy year, trying to emerge, and eventually they had their national convention there. What does that do for democracy? And do you see them now? I mean, the issue had always been, will they be a formidable opposition in the shape they were in? Okay, they've come out now, they've picked someone. So what do you think? Yeah,
it's good for our democracy structurally, because when you run democracy without opposition, you're like a pastor without a Bible. It just will not work. But then, it does not mean that the PDP as a party, having won that legal battle at the Supreme Court, has come to realize itself as a political party with the details of the technicalities that it involves. In other words, that you win an election and you are back on tour does not mean that you now have what it takes to give true objective opposition. So Nigerians should know that it is not yet Uhuru.
Even because in spite of them saying, okay, everybody come home, there's a lot of talk of reconciling aggrieved parties. You don't think even those sort of moves should see them?
That's fine. But
under the campaign?
That's fine. If they do that, I mean, it's a matter of strategy. But it is not yet Uhuru for Nigerians, because beyond what PDP will be able to offer as opposition, we also need a very vibrant civil society to back them up. And my fear, if I must express it, is that that appears to be dwindling at the moment. All right,
so it's one of those nights where we're running, and Associate Professor of Political Science, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cross over to Abuja now. Here's Gloria Umezoke. Gloria.
Hello, Ijoma. The last is yet to be heard about the ongoing probe of the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Mr. Ayoke, over the huge sums of money found in a Lagos apartment and linked to him. But today, President Muhammadu Buhari received the report of the investigating panel and said all those found culpable in this scandal will be made to account for it and will be made appropriately sanctioned. The president insists that the circumstances surrounding the obtaining, keeping, custody and disbursement of the funds have been examined by the vice president's committee, and justice would be done in line with the country's anti-corruption policies. The president adds that the Osborne Tower incident and its aftermath has also brought to the fore the need to review the entire national security architecture, which has now been in operation since its establishment 31 years ago. The controversy surrounding the $1 billion from the excess crude account approved by governors last week to fight insurgency may have taken another dimension, with a renewed promise by the Ekiti state governor to contest the approval in court. Governor Fayose told State House correspondents after an emergency meeting held by the Nigerian Governors Forum and speakers of State Houses of Assembly at the Presidential Villa. The chairman of the Nigeria's Governors Forum, Governor Abdulaziz Yari, says the agreement by the governors to forfeit $1 billion from the excess crude account is not a new decision, as the same approval was also granted to states in 2014 to equally fight insurgency in the northeast. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested the Chief Executive Officer of Innocent Motors, Mr. Innocent Chukwuma, at his residence in Enugu. Mr. Chukwuma was arrested after failing to honor the invitation by the Commission. According to the anti-graft agency, Mr. Chukwuma jumped an administrative bill granted him in a case being investigated by the Capital Market and Insurance Fraud Unit of the Commission's Lagos office. But the management of Innocent on the company's Twitter handle are insisting that their chief executive was arrested without prior invitation. The company also accused a commercial bank it had dealings with of being behind the arrest of Mr. Innocent Chukwuma. Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you now, Ijoma.
All right, thanks a lot, Gloria. A lawmaker in the House of Representatives, Johnson Agboyima, is disappointed with the decision of the House to reject a motion seeking for strict compliance to the federal government's white paper on digital switchover in the country. The motion, which came as a motion of urgent public importance, was rejected in a voice vote by the lawmakers. Mr. Agboyima explains that it's unfortunate that the House rejected a resolution it earlier passed.
Now, are we not going to set the precedent of we having a resolution be passed by the Committee of the Whole of this Honorable Chamber, this great A session? At the end of the day, what we now end up doing is to upturn even our own resolution. The prayers of that motion today that I moved was to compel the Honorable Minister of Information to follow due process, to adhere to the white paper that is from the federal government itself. That ITS that was given 1.7 billion, what you see on ground today is an obsolete equipment, obsolete equipment of the highest order, substandard equipment, outdated equipment that have already expired far back at 2013. And I must say this, very, very disappointed that we have now decided to play partisan politics rather than doing the job of our people that elected us to represent them effectively, to be accountable to them.
Now, what's meant to be the largest single refinery in the world, the Dangote refinery project, will be signed, sealed and delivered by 2019. This disclosure was made by the technical consultant of Dangote refinery, Babajide Soyode, at the facility tour of the project site in Lagos. On completion, the ongoing Dangote refinery and fertilizer plant is expected to create more jobs and boost revenue for the nation.
Members of the House Committee on Local Content are here to monitor the compliance of Dangote refinery and fertilizer plant to the Nigerian local content law.
Capacity building for the PIC. So far we have completed 14 borehole projects. Why did we do borehole projects? When we did the needs assessment, we realized that access to potable water was a priority need for all the 14 communities. So as a quick win project, the confidence building project, Dangote decided to do boreholes in each of the communities, and we completed that and we handed them over.
After a brief meeting, both parties proceed on a facility tour of the ongoing project of the Dangote refinery and fertilizer plants.
What we've seen on ground so far, I've gone to several countries of the world. I've also inspected facilities outside Nigeria. What I have seen here, what we have seen here today, I would say have met international standards. Some of the construction here have surpassed what I have seen outside Nigeria. So yeah, it is up to standard.
this is the biggest single refinery in the world. All the technologies are there, the fabricators are not necessarily here. We have some Nigerians working here. Kakasa is working here. Dangote is working here. We are just going to start construction, and we are going to get more and more Nigerians.
When are we expecting this project to be completed so that you can start?
We are looking towards the end of 2019.
With a clean bill of health from the members of the House Committee on Local Content, the ongoing Dangote refinery project, said to be the largest single refinery in the world, is now set for the 2019 completion date. By the time this project is completed, it is expected to boost Nigeria's quest for self-sustenance in local oil production.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Anne Waudu.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Ijoma, and welcome to Business News. Nigerian Communications Commission says it has recorded over 140.7 million active subscribers of telecoms networks across the country. And that's an increase of 861,440 subscribers compared with the over 139.9 million recorded in the month of September. According to the NCC's monthly subscriber and operator report, which was released today, the number of active subscribers to the global system for mobile communications network services increased by 863,551 to over 140.3 million. Among the GSM operators, MTN subscribers increased to 50.7 million users, Globacom's users are 37.4 million, Airtel is 35 million, and 9 mobile subscribers stands at 17.1 million. But the database for Code Division Multiple Access, that's the CDMA, operators for October was unchanged at 217,566, with 213,106 customers from Visaphone and 4,460 from Multilinks. More profit taken across key sectors hit today's trading session at the local stock markets. However, bargain hunting lifted the insurance sector at the close of trading. Emma Namawe tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Investors at the local bourse extended the profit-taking earlier recorded on Monday by an additional 60 billion naira taken off the equities capitalization. The sell-offs hit major bellwether stocks across all the sectors of the NSE except the insurance sector and pulled the all-share index lower by 0.46%. Price load shared was recorded by 25 equities led by CNI Leasing, Dangote Sugar and NCR, all down by around 5%, while small cap livestock feeds is the highest amongst 15 gainers. Despite the market's downturn, investors' appetite for stocks remained strong as 649.63 million shares changed hands in 3,888 deals, mostly driven by the shares of Transcorp. And those are the day's trading figures. I'm Emana Amawe.
U.S. stock markets ends today's session broadly in the red following a 1% drop from Apple after a ratings downgrade of the tech giants. Here are the numbers for today. With those numbers, we end Business News for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Joma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, American sprinter Justin Gatlin denies doping after shocking allegations made against his coach and agent by undercover reporters. That's on sports. Please stay with us.